Hi, everyone.
Hello. We're,
Um,
we're here.
we're here. We are recording this live. This will go up probably completely unedited. So if you hear blips and bloops and all sorts of fun mishaps that normally get cut out, that's why.
That's why, because we wanted to be really raw and real, like the world is
Fuck.
right now, and so here we are. What's the old saying? Fuck it, we'll do it live. Oh God, we're gonna get demonetized on YouTube. I swore within the first 5 minutes. We don't make any money off YouTube anyway.
We don't make
so
we don't make
whatever.
any money.
Well, it would be weird if you're listening and this is the very first thing you're listening to, but I guess we should probably introduce ourselves just in case.
Yeah. Well, we've had some changes since I think the last time that we.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm Raven. I use Faye Fair and its pronouns. To those of you who are just coming in, listen to some of our other episodes to learn about what those actually mean. And for those of you who have been here for a while, hey, I'm using its pronouns now.
Yay. And I'm Cam, your dad, and I use he, him pronouns. And shit, man.
Shit.
This is like, boy. So here's what we're trying to do tonight. Just not to try to be a bummer. I think we're going to talk for the first part of this episode about just like how we're coping, what we're doing. If you are paying any attention to world politics, and particularly if you live in the United States, you would likely know that we'll have not a new president, a president again.
Sorry, a convicted felon as our president.
A convicted
I want to make that clear.
And there's a lot about the politics involved with that we're going to talk about on the back half of this episode. So if you're looking for the like positive pieces, the how we're coping, what we're doing to stay positive right now, we're going to put that on the forefront of this episode. And then we'll let you know when we're going to transition into what I think is going to be darker, harder things for us to sort of talk about the next 2 to 4 years of our lives under the new world we're going to be living in.
And to those of you who might be watching this video, we will be having a guest appearance of Andre, my partner, and also potentially our 2 new kittens, Dove
Yay.
and Crow. So keep an eye out for that. I will let you know when we get closer to that.
And you know what I'm going to do? See, this is, again, us just kind of doing things on the fly. I am just going to actually... So my video is not working. Obviously, if you're on the stream, you can't see that. But I realized that if I just start recording on the camera itself right now, I can edit in the video later.
He can definitely do that.
I
guess you all get
power.
to look at me. I'm beautiful. Hi.
Okay, I don't know if that actually... Here, there's my microphone. And okay, hi.
All right.
Happy Cam is here.
Happy Cam. All right. We've got kittens. If you all would like to see them.
We're starting with kittens.
Come here. All right. Okay. There we go. This is Crow.
Crow.
Say hi, Crow.
I haven't even met these kittens yet, so I'm so excited.
They are both siblings. We've got their first vet appointment tomorrow, and we're pretty sure that they are about 6 weeks old or so. So very, very, very young. They also don't normally get to leave the bedroom very much, so...
Oh, so now they're going to want to explore.
Hi. Oh, there you go. And this is Dove on my shoulder here.
Dove. What a baby. Yeah, obligatory butthole for your viewing pleasure.
It's okay, Dove. Oh, there we go. And Dove is gone. Crow is causing
gosh.
mayhem, as usual.
All right. That made me feel good. Thanks for showing me the babies.
Yes, Cam and I met up a little bit earlier this evening, and I almost invited you inside, but I was like, I don't have any energy right now.
No, and I needed to hurry home to get dinner, so that's okay. I can't wait to come over and meet the kitties soon.
Yes, we will have a kitty meetup. And yeah, I think that this is really important to those of you who are listening to this later, who might be watching right now, that we talk about the positives, because there's a lot of negatives right now.
And it's always been our
so,
number one intention with this podcast is
yes,
to, to talk about the real things and, to be honest about what the world is like, but it's really easy to get way bogged down and way focused in the negative. And so, it seems like one of the way that you and I are both coping is that we've got our people /
our
fur
people.
babies around us. And so, I guess let's start there and say, I think the biggest thing we always talk about is finding your community, thriving with your community. And boy, are we surrounded with amazing people that are
We
also
really are.
grieving with us right now. And thank goodness for those people.
Thank goodness for those people. Shout out just a couple of people in our community who have reached out personally to me. Nikea reached out this morning and was just saying, I love you, and was very sweet and supportive. Sean Hayes, a former guest, incredible human who has also reached out and made sure that we're doing okay. Just a lot of really good people.
I mean, I'll shout out. I had a few friends reach out today. My friend Katie reached out, and I had coffee with my friend Alex yesterday before we knew what the results were. But it was a very heavy, we were just trying to talk about the stupidest random things for an hour and a half, and we succeeded. And then Sean has done a great job today. Oh, and then I also want to say our friend Nomi, who has also been a podcast guest, has been a longtime listener and friend of ours. Did a really great little just get together and draw, and we didn't really talk about much except for how our lives are okay right now, aside from the big stuff and color, and it was lovely. So, I think that's where my advice is. In 2016, the last time that the Orange Man was elected, the night after this night that we're recording right now, there just happened to be somebody posted randomly on Facebook and was like, hey, a lot of us are grieving. Let's just all meet up at Lake Place Park here in Duluth and just be in community. And I think like 30 people showed up for that. And we cried, and I hugged strangers, and we just talked about our grief and our feelings and how afraid we were. And I didn't feel like that's what I needed tonight. What I needed was my Raven time to process.
Honestly. Well, and the last time, 2016, I was still living at home. And the podcast wasn't a thing at that point. It wasn't even in our brains. I didn't vote in the 2016 election because I was under 18. There's a lot different. And it feels worse now being an adult, living with all of the bullshit that 4 more years of the Cheeto Man is going to bring us. But we're trying to save that for a little bit later. Community. Find your community, make sure that they are okay, make sure that your loved ones are okay and safe right now. I know a lot of us are struggling, and the more that we can come together with each other, the better.
What else are we doing to keep ourselves coping right now?
I got treats. I got ice cream sandwiches and some root beer, and for those of you who partake in substances, I will also be getting super fucking stoned a little bit later. So, we're trying over here. Cam, what about you? What are you doing tonight?
Treats was the thing. I was thinking about food, we had some ramen for dinner tonight, which is kind of a nice, soul-filling food. And then my favorite lemon cake, I swear to you all,
oh, yes.
It's Pepperidge Farm. It's in the cooler, like in the freezer section. You wouldn't see it from the box that it's like the greatest cake on the planet, but it is so delicious. And I crave it when I don't have it. So that's a special treat for special times. And we decided tonight, or I decided to bring it home as a treat for myself and my partner. So, and Ollie had some too. So
good. Yeah, I think also just like whatever you need to do to make it through the day today, I wasn't really here for most of the day. I was dissociating and was just kind of gone. And that's okay too. Like if what you need right now is to just not be present in the world, I do not blame you. So, keep doing what makes you feel good, everyone.
And as you're able
And
to, I mean, I think that dissociation is an important part for a lot of us of, how our brains handle things. But I also say, try to pull yourself out every once in a while and check in with somebody. I think that dissociation can turn into some real dark places for our
it
brains
really
to be.
Yeah.
So it's really, I got emotional even thinking about that. Like those are some of the
Yeah.
worst times, when you're just sort of stuck in that state of like, I'm paralyzed by my own brain right now. And so it's important to ask people to check on you if that's something that you need.
Yes.
And I hate to say it, but I will say it right now on the forefront here. If you are experiencing a crisis, if this is sending you to a dark place, we have all the resources for various ways that you can get help, including the Trans Lifeline, which if you are in a good place with spoons, I'm going to tell you they desperately need volunteers right now. They are way overwhelmed, and people are getting a voicemail more often now, it sounds like. So in that case, message us if you're in crisis and you're not getting through to somebody, and we will do our best to be able to. We get a little overwhelmed by messages, but at least to be a sounding board for you.
Yes, at least a place where you can send those thoughts that you will be heard.
And we got a lot of those today from folks.
We really did.
So thank you for sending your thoughts and messages in.
And do not worry about us, dear listeners. We are coping and doing our best right now, and it's most important that you all take care of yourselves and the people who you are around, and we will continue to take care of ourselves here as well.
Yes.
It's really important that we keep that community and everything. And for those of you that do have spoons, please support those who do not currently, because there's not a lot of spoons to go around right now, unfortunately.
Truly. If you have other ways that you are doing great at coping right now, or ideas that you have for people, send them in the chat here. Throw them in the comments in the video once we get them up. We just
send them in our Discord
ideas too. Yeah, like do you have some kind of crystal that's giving you energy right now? I will try anything these days.
Listen, essential oils. If you want to take a bath with a bath bomb, whatever floats
if you
your
want
boat
to take
right
a bath
now.
with Raven, that's oh no, wait.
Listen, we're not at Gamer Girl bathwater yet.
Oh, hey, if there's demand for that, though, we'll make that happen. You don't want my bathwater. I'm a dirty old man. Oh,
there we go. I'm back. Hello, everyone. I'm back. My computer decided that it wanted to freak out for a second.
That's all right.
Yes, but we want to bring some levity into life right now, because it's all just a lot, and the more that we can celebrate the good times right now, the better, for everyone, for all of us.
So speaking of those good times, were you going to segue? Am I segueing? See, this is the stuff that gets cut
segueing?
Yeah. Maybe why don't you take this first part here about voting shifts, and then I did a lot of research on these politicians, so then I can talk a little bit about that. And
absolutely. Yeah, so just some positives in the political world, because that's what this is really about, and fuck everything. But there is some good, which is, according to NBC News, 86% of LGBTQ identifying folks voted for Vice President Harris, which is a 12% increase over 2020. Incredible.
It's a huge shift.
If you are not registered to vote, go and get registered to vote, so that nothing like this ever happens again, please. And if you are registered to vote and you voted in this election, thank you, because every vote matters. Whether you feel like it does or doesn't, it matters. Something
that our new vice president Vance said that was really interesting to me was that your average gay guy, your normal gay guy, is going to vote for Trump, Vance. And I thought that was really interesting, but they, in a way, they were not wrong based on 2020 data, because just over half of LGBTQ identifying individuals still voted for Trump, which I think is very much against your self-interest. And I think we saw that from the policies that were being enacted. And so I'm very confused by that mindset. How you would vote to cut off the rights for yourself, and also more particularly, especially in this last election, for trans folks. It just that does not track for me.
Like, not just for trans folks, but for women, for people of color, for disabled people, for so many people. If you voted for it, pardon me a little bit here as I vent a little bit, but if you did not vote in this election, or if you voted for Trump, fuck you in particular, and you are part of the problem. I should not have to fear for my life and my rights as a queer, trans, disabled woman in a healthy country. Should not have citizens who are fearing for their life because of who they are and the hand that they were dealt in life. So, fuck you if you voted for Trump or didn't vote in this election, and do better. Vote for people who actually give a shit next election, and vote if you didn't.
This is an opportunity. I mean, we're in we're going to talk about this later, but the dark times because of some of those decisions, and so I'm only heartened by the fact that a larger percentage of LGBTQ individuals are seeing the fact that we have to stand together to protect our rights, or else we're gonna lose them.
Absolutely. And I think that we saw that a lot with the amount of trans politicians that were elected in this last election. Cam, if you want to take it away and just kind of go over who won, because this is really exciting.
I'd love to. And so there were quite a few candidates that ran for various offices across the country. I'm just going to focus on a few of the bigger names, or ones that received a lot of press. If you know others, please, again, throw them in the chat, throw them in the comments. We want to know about who is out there. Being a trans person, this is funny for me to say as a cis man, but I just recognize this, like, being a trans person and putting yourself out there in the way you have to in order to go for political office is dangerous. And it is it takes a very, very thick skin and an understanding of, you know what, I'm not going to let people bully me into submission. And I just, I really feel deeply proud of these individuals. So Sarah McBride, I think, probably got the most press this year. They are considered the first openly trans person to serve as a state senator in the U.S. Now have recently been elected as the first openly trans person to serve in Congress, and they'll represent Delaware. So that's huge.
That's so huge.
Danica Rome was the first openly trans person to serve in any state legislature, served in the Virginia House, and then last year, I just want to give this for information, was elected to the Virginia Senate. So now they're the first person to serve in both sides of chambers of a state legislature. So again, this is a long time in coming. It's ridiculous that we've not had the kind of support for trans leadership in politics. Montana Representative Zoe Zeifer, who we've been following, we talk about a lot. Their partner is Aaron, who is a private journalist who does a lot of coverage on trans legislation. Both really cool humans. And anyway, reelected to their spot in Montana. That seems to me like it would be a very challenging state to be elected for state office in. And so, way to go.
Yeah, incredible.
Amy Wichendall won a seat in Iowa's House, another state that it's amazing to me.
Genuinely impressive.
And then two that I'm really excited to say are coming back to our state legislature. Our friends, Leah Finke, representative in the Twin Cities, and then Duluth's own Leash Kozlowski, reelected.
Leash listens to our podcast, and I love Leash so much. Hi, Leash. Thank you for being here if you're listening to this. And thank you for all of the hard work that you put in.
I ran into Leash at Five Below the other day.
But genuinely, Lee Finke and Leash are two of the most influential people in Minnesota doing incredibly hard work for trans rights and advancement in Minnesota.
They were the leaders and the spearhead for the trans refuge bill and a lot of protections and rights. And I God, am I so glad we got that work done when we did, considering where we're at right now. We are very fortunate that they really stuck their necks out to get that work done so that we have the protections that we have in the state.
And congrats to both of you for winning your re-election campaigns. That's incredibly important and powerful.
Truly.
Any other positives? Any other positives?
did we run out of positives? You know what's positive? Raven, I love you, and I love you. I'm sorry that this all happened, but I feel very fortunate that again we have the opportunity to grieve together, and also our next steps are we need to go out and kick ass, and so that's the other positive of this is like we are going to not sit on our haunches. We need to revitalize, we need to recharge our batteries, and then this podcast is our platform to do the work. And my guess is we're going to be even more villainized for doing this work, and we can become targets, and we are absolutely willing to do that because it is for the rights of Raven and for everyone who is gender nonconforming in the United States. It has to be done. It's beyond important.
And I know so many different people listen to our podcast, from parents of trans kids to trans youth to trans adults who may be discovering their identities for the first time, to disabled people, to people who are struggling with mental health, to anybody who intersects with any of those identities, to women, to people of color, like to all of us. We have to keep this fight going.
Yes.
And while we're still in the positives here, something that I've been seeing a lot today that I just wanted to share with you all is the thoughts that we have to outlive this orange fucktard of a president that we have elected as a country. And I think that that's a really important message that we all need to keep in mind is fuck this guy, and we all have to outlive him, because if we don't, then he wins. And I'm never going to let that fucker win.
Yep. I am so glad. So, we say this a lot and we'll say it again. We need you here. We want you on this earth. And I love that way of thinking about it, of like, stick around to watch the McDonald's explode his heart in the next couple of years here, or whatever is going to happen. I hope I don't have the Secret Service knocking on my door here soon. I need to be careful about what I say, but
here's the thing: Vance is just as bad, if not worse, than Trump is. But if we can make it through these next 4 years, I think that things will get better. I think that the horizon looks good, and if we just look at all of the incredible work that was done from 2020 to now,
yes,
there's been so much that has been done that is incredibly important and great work, and how much our country has healed itself from the last presidency of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
We will heal again. And an important part of that is having you around to help do that work. I know it feels hopeless right now, because I feel hopeless right now, and we have to keep fighting.
Yes.
Because if we aren't around to keep fighting, no one will keep fighting for us.
Totally agree. I guess the other thing I'd like to say before we get into this piece is, we're talking about the work we did in 2020. I also want to say that, it's not a 4-year window necessarily. It's a 2-year window. We did it in 2018. We really tied Trump's hands, by getting the right people into Congress who made, it harder to just enact whatever he wanted to do.
Yes.
And so, I think maybe here's where I'll start off in the transition. So, trigger warning. We're now going to talk about laws and potential things that are really harmful, and we're going to address some really, really awful things that may be very triggering. So, this is a good time to jump ship if you need that.
Yes, if you came here for wholesome, lighthearted discussion, some levity, some just community building, I'm so glad that you are here. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to get in some real dark shit. If you do not have the spoons or the energy for that, leave. And I say that knowing that our numbers are probably going to go down right now. And I say that knowing that, like, you know, we're still trying to make a podcast, but I want to make sure that all of you are safe and cared for and okay. And if you decide later that you want to come back and listen to this part, you're more than welcome to. Take a break. Go for a walk. Take a glass of water. You know, whatever you need to do right now. And for those of you who are ready to move on with us, welcome, or thanks for staying.
Welcome back. Hope you got some water. So here's what I want to say, which is the Trump team and the folks that he is surrounded by are much more prepared now for enacting the things they want to enact than they were in 2016. And so that's part of the scariness of right now. It means that our mobilization efforts need to start as soon as we are able, because it's going to be really, you know, I say as soon as Inauguration Day happens and decisions can start being made, there's a laundry list that we're about to go over of things that are going to be extremely harmful. But here's what we know. The White House and the Congress and the Supreme Court are all currently in the hands of Republicans.
Yes.
And the margins are narrow. It's just a couple of seats in the houses, but that's enough. That's enough of a majority to control a lot of decisions. And so also, that's kind of the starting place for this.
Sorry, hold on. I don't believe in the filibuster, but Democrats, fucking get your water bottles out, because I want you to filibuster the fuck out of Republicans. Yeah. Treat them to the same bullshit that they've been treating us to for the last fucking 20 years of my life. Fuck them up. Fuck them up
green
so
eggs and ham 37 times or whatever you need to do.
Fuck them up. I need you to go in there and speak your fucking brains out and don't let them get anything through Congress. I realize that that's not feasible, but like, fuck them. Fuck all of them. Don't let them win.
Yep. And that's the kind of pressure that we as individuals need to be putting on our elected officials, is that if you're not seeing enough backbone from Democratic leaders, we need to continue to beat that drum and say, this legislation absolutely cannot pass. You know, I know you have other priorities that you want to focus on, but this needs to stop. And
the entire priority... The entire priority of the Republican Party for the last number of years has been to stop whatever Democrats are doing. We need to beat that drum and say, nope, whatever Republicans are doing to fuck up our citizens' lives, we need to stop. And whatever we as citizens can do to make that happen, we need to be doing. Because what we're about to go over here is not okay. And this is not what a healthy and good country does to its citizens.
Absolutely. So I just put a note for myself. I just wanted to mention that, you know, part of our concern right now is not just what we know and already exists in documentation about what these decisions are, but the actions that have happened, especially in the last few weeks. A lot of official Trump advertising was specifically on an anti-trans platform. And it was, you know, clips taken out of context of Kamala Harris, where basically, you know, that they were saying Kamala's going to trans your kids when they're at school, when you're not listening. You know, they're going to have gender affirming surgeries happen in their, you know, school nurse's office and then come home another gender. And that's what those ads were, truly targeted. And I think that's the truth in what they believe and what they are trying to fight against. And it is absolutely horrific.
It's so horrific. As a trans person, I in no way want to trans your kids. I just want trans kids to be able to live their lives and not have to face the threat of violence, suicide, discrimination, any of the fucked up shit that is going to be happening.
Exactly.
And that's what the now soon to be president of the United States wants for our trans kids, is for them to die and suffer. And I 100% believe that if he could, he would throw all of us into internment camps and have another Holocaust.
Yeah.
And I do not say that lightly. I know exactly what my words mean, and I mean them.
Well, I mean, already part of this is like, it's slippery slope isn't even the right word because it's way more dire than that. But like, you know, day one, the Trump campaign wants to deport all immigrants, you know, like that kind of rhetoric. And we're talking like
he's praised Hitler.
All immigrants. Yes, exactly.
Like, this man is a threat to democracy, to our country, and to every single one of us who relies on any sort of governmental support.
Yep.
It's fucked up. And it's not okay.
So maybe we can get into the specifics a little bit here. So folks may have heard about Project 2025, and this is the clearest roadmap that I think we have right now to show really, I don't trust a thing the man says. So, of course, I feel like Trump is 100% behind this. He knows exactly what it says. He's telling the public that he doesn't have anything to do with it. But if you look at the architects of this, I mean, they're all people that have been in Trump's orbit, that are all, and already we saw these actions happen during his presidency towards this direction. This is just the much more extreme Handmaid's Tale, version of this. Going back to traditional American families is what they keep saying. And, what does traditional American family mean? Well, it means gay people don't exist. And it means, that people of not white races don't exist. That's what they see when they're talking about traditional families.
People with disabilities don't exist.
Yep.
People who are struggling with addiction don't exist. People who are not the perfect, idealized white man don't exist. And women who are just sex objects. That's what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
So Project 2025, they want to roll back trans rights nationally. Like, that is written out in their laws. They want to allow suing schools and universities that support trans students. That's fucked up. You should not be able to sue a school for caring about its students.
And you'll see baked into all of this, you may have heard from the rhetoric, is that the term woke is not in Project 2025 that I saw, but the whole idea of like DEI and woke are the two like main talking points that they're thinking about, and you see that baked into all of this. Is like schools need to be less woke, and we need to remove DEI from everything. And in a little bit, when we talk about anti-trans legislation, that shows up in every single one of these bills, is like no diversity, equity, or inclusion in any government-funded project, which is just absolutely. It's just a bizarro world to me. That just means that, okay, great. So that means we don't get to teach people of privilege how their privilege abuses others, and how it, because you want to allow that. You want people to be abused.
Yes. And then what's most terrifying to me in this rolling back of trans rights nationally is the removing of gender-affirming care from Medicaid. I've said it before. I will say it again. Medicaid is what saved my life. It has paid for my care. It has paid for my antidepressants. It has paid for my surgeries. It's paid for so much of what has kept me alive. And if you take away my gender-affirming care, I will die. I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm saying that I need estrogen. I need progesterone. I need antidepressants. I need the things that come along with gender-affirming care to live my life. And they want to take that away. They want to kill trans people. And given where we're at in our country, they will absolutely kill trans people. They have already killed many, many trans people.
Yes. And this also goes to some of the things we'll talk about the legislation, but I just want to say it out loud. Gender affirming care means a lot of different things. And so that could be as simple as your therapy appointments, that could be as simple. I mean, like the level of threat towards what they want reported, and we don't even talk about this in this conversation, but because we would be here for 5 hours if we talked about everything, but like reporting women's menstrual cycles to the federal government is one of the initiatives that, so like what you go and see your therapist about that should be private information and should be your own private medical data could be part of this conversation in order to prevent people from receiving even the talk therapy care that they need, let alone hormones and surgery and other things that are incredibly important to gender information.
I just want to make it very clear to everybody who's listening, and I know that everybody who's listening probably knows this, but the suicide rates among trans and queer folks is significantly higher than their cis and straight counterparts. And without things like talk therapy and government aid for those things, you will see a rise in trans deaths.
For
likely
trans
from
youth,
suicide.
it's 4 times higher than their cisgender.
It's horrifying.
Counterparts.
And I imagine that with the removal of the safety nets that are in place to protect our youth, to protect our population, to protect our citizens, we're going to see those numbers spike. I would not be surprised if by 2024 or if by 2028 we have numbers that are closer to 20 times more likely to commit suicide.
If we don't stop this. Again, that's why this is a life or death situation that we're in right now. Like, we have to take action. I was thinking a lot about something that I heard on the internet a lot, and it's this idea of, oh, thank God Trump is our president again. Now we don't have to worry about all this trans nonsense anymore. Is like a huge talking point for half the country, you know? And what I don't think this is what your grandmas out there mean is like they want to see you dead, but what the results are is that you are dead. And certainly the Trump administration says they would rather you be silenced, and whatever that looks like, dead or just gone or, you know, afraid. That's what all of this does.
And like, I don't want to sit here and Secret Service, I'm sure that you're listening after that joke that Cam made earlier. But
we're each assigned our own, right?
The FBI has got me on speed dial. Like, shut the fuck up. No, but like, I'm not out here trying to radicalize anyone. Like, I'm telling it to you straight. Like, this is a threat to our lives and to our democracy, and what is happening is going to kill people. And when you start killing people like that, bad things happen. And I do not think that I'm being exaggeratory, or that's not a word, but you know what I mean. I don't think I'm exaggerating.
Yes.
When I say that, like, if you continue to harm your citizens like this, the America that you think that you were going to get is actually going to fall the fuck apart, and you are going to have citizens unruly and in distress. Look at Hong Kong. Look at look at like Italy. Like, look at like any of these countries.
Here I am, cisgender man, and how many times a day I think about Rome. This is what I'm really thinking about Rome, is like the fall of empires happen when fascism reaches a state. You know, something's got to give, and so if enough citizens are dying or under pressure in ways that make them desperate, desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's what makes societies fall. And it's proven time and time again through history, and that's what we're thinking about. And hey, you know what? I'm kind of here for that show. You know, I think you know, I don't really want apocalypse to happen, but I think we need major changes to our systems, and it might take something absolutely radical and ridiculous to make that happen. And I don't know what that looks like in a way that protects us, but boy, is this system broken.
And I don't want anyone to mistake this as us endorsing violence or saying go out and commit heinous acts.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah,
like we are not encouraging that. But what we are saying is we are trying to get across the message that when trans people start dying, when queer people start dying, when we start to see families fall apart, things are going to get desperate and radical. And I do not exaggerate when I say that I think that there will be many protests in the coming years if these things are put into place. And as we saw with the Black Lives Matter movement, we are going to be in a dangerous spot as a country, and many of us are going to die. I can imagine.
And that plays out in one of the items from Project 2025, which is to weaponize federal law enforcement against journalists and protesters. That this is maybe the one that I am most scared of in some ways.
Yes.
You know, suppressing our right to protest, suppressing the right for free information. This is what China does, and this is what Russia does, and this is what you know, the kind of dictatorships that we as a country typically say we can't stand for this, and our country will never be like that. That's baked right in. to this set of policies, because what it does is it frees up the fascists on top to do whatever they want without any kind of accountability or transparency.
Yeah. I want to get across to all of you cisgender people who listen to our podcast how dire the situation is, if you don't already understand. And I hope that the words that we have said get that across, but keep a very, very, very close eye on what is happening, and protect your trans people in your life, protect the queer people in your life, protect the people who are oftentimes discriminated against in your life, because things are going to get worse.
Do you want to hit the last point on Project 2025?
2025 is a massive document, and we are kind of picking out some of the most important pieces here. But another really big piece of what they want to talk about is censoring critical discussions in classrooms. Specifically, what they want to restrict are discussions on race, gender, and systematic oppression, things that they are either don't care about, want to suppress, or are agreeable with, in Trump's case, for the systematic oppression piece.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to talk about systematic oppression as a negative, which is such a bizarro land thing to think about. Like, we want to talk about it as a positive. I mean, just imagine, I mean, what does that look like? That means, like, positive discussions of Nazism? I mean, I just, positive discussions of Putin's, suppressive regime in Russia. I mean, that is the opposite of these things. Like, we study history and the political climates of other countries so that we can make our country better. And if we're discussing them on the reverse, then we are creating bizarro land for ourselves.
Yeah. They also want to ban books on, quote, woke topics. So that's like race, gender theory, sexuality, sex ed. They want to ban books on teaching anything but abstinence. They want to ban books on helping kids understand what it means to know about their bodies. They want to ban books on allowing anyone to do research about what they are experiencing in their life, whether they're attracted to men, women, whatever.
And we're already seeing these things happen, especially those book bans in Florida. And, there are many states that have been already a testing ground.
Fuck you, Florida.
For this to happen. Yeah, fuck you specifically, Florida. And I know, because we have a lot of Florida trans listeners who reach out and also say, no, seriously, fuck this place. But no, I mean, that's, like there have been Texas as well in many ways. There are already some incubators testing a lot of these policies. And this is one of those things. And then what replaces those books but the Bible? I mean, that's what this project wants, is that...
Which is so fucking funny to me. Sorry, this is a point of levity that I have to have. Let's replace books about sex and, like positive conversations with the fucking Bible, which has murder and, like, rape and just
incest,
horrible
there's
things
all
in
kinds
it.
of stuff in there, yep.
And then they also want to cut federal funding for schools that don't comply with their policies, which is horrendous. Thank you, Cam. He also added in that they want to abolish the Department of Education, which
I remembered that one.
I don't know how the fuck they're going to do that. Also, something that I remembered that is not a part of Project 2025, but y'all remembered RFK Jr., right? The man who said that he had brains in his worm. He's going to be in charge of all of our public health systems.
Did you say he had brains in his worm? Because that was way better. Technically, yes, because the worm ate the brains, and so the brains are in the worm now.
Normally we'd cut that part out, but the worm that ate his brain. Guys, it's fucked up. But that man is going to be in charge of all of our public health systems for the next 4 years, and what the fuck does that mean? He doesn't believe in vaccines.
Anti-vaxxer, yep. And truly has just wild views on the world. Very, very out there. Not to mention then Elon Musk as the chief efficiency officer, whatever that means.
This, like, you can just buy your way into politics if you are rich enough. And we're seeing a country that is broken. I love America for what it stands for what it tries to be, and I hate where we're at.
Truly.
Yeah.
So while
Speaking
we're
of hating this,
spiraling into depression here, and knowing that I wanted to try to keep this to an hour just so that we don't. We really could and will be talking about this for hours and hours moving forward. And my guess is we will revisit a lot of these things individually on future podcast episodes. But right now there are 80 anti-trans bills actively being worked on in Congress. Like they have bill numbers. They have been, presented in various committees. I wanted to just quickly, this is just going to be rapid fire maybe, and then we can sort of talk about the ones that resonate the most. But I just want to list these off so that people really understand, like this. A lot of these seemed like jokes yesterday. And now today they seem like they're pretty close to becoming law if we don't get things like a filibuster happening or some other, like tactics.
I want to say I never thought of these as jokes. These were threats to me.
Truly threats, yes.
Yeah, like these were threats to me, and now they are no longer just threats. These are actions against me and the people who I stand for and represent. And
thank you.
Like
jokes was not the right word.
Yeah.
I should have said unpassable with a Democratic president. These would have been absolutely vetoed minute that they hit a desk. Like there's no way. And now they could be rushed right through both houses of Congress and onto the president's desk
and become law. And become law, and then we can't fucking change that. Because our country is legitimately broken. And these things will outlive a lot of us, I believe.
Yeah. And this is the difference. A lot of the things we're going to talk about could be done as executive orders. And if you aren't familiar with American politics or how this works, an executive order is simply something the president can enact within a certain set of guardrails, but they're pretty wide, where that is something that a future president could get rid of, like
very easily.
Happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas acts of Congress take a lot more work to build into law, and then getting rid of those laws is a lot more work as well in the amount of lobbying and decision making that needs to be made. So here they are, rapid fire. Bills just I just kind of took themes out of the 80 bills. This is sort of the main. There's like lots of bills on some of the same sort of ideas. So ban on transgender persons serving in the military. Criminalize gender-affirming care of any kind for people under 18.
That includes hormone therapy.
Yep. Ban on women from women's detention facilities, and specifically women, and specifically from women's detention facilities, specifically transgender women, I should say. Prohibition on gender designation other than male and female on the passports, and removal of the X gender designation from TSA security programs. Criminalizing schools from recognizing a child's gender other than that assigned at birth without explicit consent of parents, with no real understanding of what that looks like or, what teachers are allowed to do. So I would say that if that were enacted, teachers will not recognize a child's gender unless they are really have a strong backbone, because the system's going to penalize them and potentially sue them. Removal of all pride symbols from federal property. God, that's dystopian as hell.
How do you even fucking do that? That's fucked up as hell. And fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. No public funding for prevention of discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. That's fucked up. No public funding for public health initiatives that include DEI statements. No public funding for universities with DEI programs and initiatives. Requirement that
individuals can only compete.
That
was a bad mistype on my part. Sorry.
Requirement that individuals only compete in sports that match their reproductive biology and genetics. That part was on me. I just can't read. And then requirements that entities providing adoption or foster care cannot delay or deny placement to families that will not recognize the child's gender identity, which means that if you have a trans child in an adoption agency, people who are anti-trans can adopt those children and ruin their fucking lives.
Right, and without any steps for protection of those kids from the entity that is providing that connection. So
this is dystopian. If all of these bills get passed, I'm already considering when these things get passed seeking asylum, and if all of these bills get passed, I think that I would have very strong grounds to say I am not welcome in my country anymore. America's fucked up, and we are going to suffer for the next 4 years.
Yeah. These are serious threats. And again, we are only talking about tonight because this is the amount of time we have, specifically anti-trans legislation and decisions. Our whole concept of bodily autonomy is already an extreme threat. Now we're looking at a nationwide full abortion ban potentially being something, even though abortion was at the top of most women voters' list of things that they wanted to make sure. And there is a huge public interest in access to abortion care. But that does not matter to the individuals we have now put in office.
It doesn't matter to the white men who are taking control of our country. If you want to depress yourself, I highly encourage you all to look at stories of how lack of abortion access can actually harm people who are seeking a child. There's a story I was reading today about a woman who had a miscarriage and could not get on mifepristone without a lot of documentation and answering a lot of invasive questions, even though her body was literally rejecting the child that she could not have anymore. It's very fucked up, and abortion access harms. Lack of abortion access harms everyone.
We have an article on our website, transgendapod.com, and also part of an episode where Raven actually talks at length about that issue and why abortion and our rights, and particularly gender identity rights, are interconnected and very much so. And it's not just about the politics; it's about the access to the kind of health care, specifically in medical care, that is necessary to support transgender people and people seeking abortions. And we are rabidly pro-abortion. If you've not caught that about us at this point, it's it's so funny to me to think about how deeply the right has had to spin this conversation around, and they want to abort babies after they're born. And I'm like, that's just fucking murder.
Murder of children.
I am not rabidly pro child murder. What I am rabidly pro is women's ability to make decisions about their bodies, but also anybody's decision to make any decision about their own bodies. That's
let's just think about this. We are talking about women, anybody who potentially gets raped and has to then carry a child to term and have that child because people are fucking weird, and conservatives fucking make me irritated. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show them a piece of my ass.
What? A piece? Save that for your OnlyFans.
Conservatives would love my OnlyFans.
Oh, right. Oh my God. Again, so many topics we can go into about the pure hypocrisy. All of the conservatives that have been, caught looking at trans OnlyFans accounts, this fully comes from a place of power and control. And I don't even think that there are a lot of people in power in the Republican Party believe half of this shit, but is the marching orders that they're receiving now that, this is it. If you want to get reelected and, you want to receive money from big donors, you got to fall in line. And here is what you were going to say and do. And this is where we are.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about showing them a piece of my ass.
And Raven's going to show part of her ass, part of Faye's ass to you. God.
That's
a new sticker.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you a piece of my ass.
The whole ass is more expensive. You gotta pay up for that.
Premium ass charge.
I think this is a great place to end our podcast on a laugh. Please, everyone, do whatever you fucking can right now. Survive, live through this. We will make it through, and the world is a better place because you are in it.
Yes. And we love you. And we're going to make this happen. And if you're listening and you are outside the United States, and you've got a job for us that we can immigrate to your country, you let us know. But no, I mean, I think we are, Raven said it very well. We do love this country for the things that it is supposed to stand for, and are very, very disenfranchised, have been for a long time, but even more so than ever, given that half the country just does not give a shit about trans rights. And so here we are.
Hates us, I think.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. Like you said, I don't think that everybody's granny wants to murder trans people, but there are people who want to, and they are now in office, or will be as of January 6th. So, yeah. I don't know. I love you all, and I hate the bigots, and please,
a big one in particular.
Please don't let any of this ever happen again if you are not registered to vote. And to those of you who are unable to vote, I'm sorry. I don't hate you. You are lovely. Continue to fight the good fight. But to those of you who are able to vote and who did not vote, fuck you in particular.
Yeah.
You are part of the problem. And please do better next time. Because if we ever have a bigot like this in office again, I don't know if our country can recover.
I don't know how we come back, but we're going to work on it. Keep listening to us in discussing these things moving forward. We're going to try to come up with ways and guests and opportunities to talk about how we make a difference in our work and what you can do else. So hang in there. Yes. Send us your euphorias. Send us your what you're doing to cope, because we want to hear it. And thank you.
Send us pictures
listening.
of part of your ass, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Please don't do that. I'm the one who looks at our social media.
I was like, do you know what you've signed me up for? Don't send us pictures of your ass. But do
send us pictures of your cats.
Send us pictures of your cats. Yeah, pictures of your cats would be great. I don't know what to say. This is off the cuff. I love you all except the bigots.
Bye.
Bye.